the fight and enjoy watching my own stream.
All right.
For once. So guys,
hello everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying all the wonderful hats that are being shown to you at the moment. Now let's see.
Q insists.
Looks like the game between Zenex and Alia is starting. Screen is switching over. There we go.
Chance is a bigger thing. The contest
All right.
begins.
So let's see here. Got interesting comes from both sides. Actually, very similar. Both featuring a second position Man-at-Arms, third position Houndmaster, fourth position Vestal. Though with Zenex featuring a Crusader and Alia featuring the Flagellant. Alia goes first. He manages to get a stun on the Crusader, and Zenex just simply bolsters up with the Man-at-Arms, trying to get that dodge up, as well as trying to mitigate any stress that Alia's team may be able to provide. Man-at-Arms gets his riposte up, potentially trying to sort of like stop the Houndmaster from just spamming Hound's Harry, though he goes for it anyways and takes the riposte.
Am I meant to be casting this with you, brother?
Yes.
Yes!
That was the plan.
Could have waited for me, big dog.
It's alright, it's alright. Alright. Flagellant with Ring
I'm there on
Stars.
Houndmaster, 40% stun resistance. Some might. There we go. It's favored still. It's good to counteract the stun of the Crusader there as well.
Right, yeah, just trying to sort of mitigate the amount of turns that are lost through the stun.
Exactly. Equalize the turn economy, I believe they call it.
Right.
What do you think the overall strategies are for these two comps here, brother?
Both somewhat interesting teams. I think they both have pretty good stress potential just through the Houndmaster and the Zealous Accusation and Reign of Sorrows, respectively. Obviously, you have the Bellow from Man-at-Arms, but just overall, I think these comps are both very similar, so I think it's going to be mostly down to the individual plays that are going to separate who wins and who loses, as well as obviously the game.
To be honest, he's got that perfect mix of DOT damage and stress damage. And when you're
right, yeah.
If you heal yourself, you get put out of that with fucking DOT actions, right? DOT damage, straight down, hard attack right away.
Sis, can you bump your volume up a bit because you're too quiet right now compared to everything else?
Okay, hold on.
Oh, all right then.
You are okay, Selentia. It's just Cider.
I see. All right, we have Bellow coming in, sort of trying to mitigate some of the damage. Stress, though. Yeah.
Yep.
From the looks of it, most of the actual raw damage coming from Alia's team will be through damage over time, so the debuff isn't going to be too overwhelming when it comes to the Bellow.
The end approaches.
I think the interesting thing we need to look at is the fact that they both kind of have these DOT damages, and they both have this vessel here. So towards the end of the game, it's going to be very, very, very fraught towards who can do the most healing. We've got the fragment with self-healing and also healing one other person, countering that Crusader.
Right. So comparing Crusader to Flagellant, obviously Flagellant is able to heal and is able to target the backline, though overall in this situation, I'd probably favor the Crusader just thanks to him being able to apply stun more quickly, as well as, or not stun, apply stress, though he doesn't have the stun, so he doesn't get that benefit from it.
It's interesting that he's using the Bulwark of Protection now. What is this, 3 turns into the game? That's 3.
Right, I'm not sure what that is, yeah, because...
Exactly.
Right,
Someone
yeah, most of the damage is
turn.
going to be coming from bleed and stress, not raw damage output.
That it's always the benefit of a heavy DOT comp. It completely goes through protection.
Right. Exactly, yeah. Like, if he was playing against a more, like, standard damage build, then it very well could be useful, though, due to the matchup, I think that was essentially just a wasted turn.
It's interesting here because the stress bars are almost similar, but I would have to say right now that Zenex has a little bit more stress than Draculich, but Draculich is putting on more DOTs. He's got a little bit more damage out there. And if that's stun, he's on advantage. There we go. It's a big advantage with that stun there.
Yeah, Draculich has been a lot more liberal with him using the stuns on the Vestal, where Zenex has been mostly on the back foot healing with it. Alongside this, the Crusader hasn't actually been able to apply much stress just from the Man-at-Arms sort of like forcing him to not use Zealous Accusation, sort of threatening him with the riposte.
I think the most important thing here is that it just seems that Zenex is playing on the back foot here. He's always stunned. He's got his stunning character stunned. His Houndmaster is in rank 3. Might not even have the stun equipped. So he's probably only got one stun there and the stun with the Vestal. And on Dracolich's side, Houndmaster, high base stun resist. You've got the Man-at-Arms, high base stun resist. Flagellant, not so high. But let's be honest, if he gets low health, if they target him, they win.
Very much so, yeah. And alongside that, like, even beyond the plays themselves, luck has just been pretty decent in Dracolich's favor. Been able to get a lot of stuns off. Specifically, just now, he got a stun on the Houndmaster despite having, you know, pretty good stun resist, leading it to be practically a 50-50. Yeah.
I think this turn we're going to start seeing our first Afflicted, perhaps a Crusader, even the Houndmaster for Zenex.
Right, yeah.
Careful play Dracolich could hold it off here, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very possible that the Houndmaster is just going to become Afflicted due to the Reign of Sorrows combined with the Bellow, though. The Crusader very much so can be as well.
There we go, the Houndmaster's gone.
There it is.
You hate to see about the amount of dodge he must have. He's got to be sitting at least 25% dodge, maybe 15.
Right, he gets inflicted with the abusive and just...
And he's stunned. Oh, there we go, he's down 10.
Yeah, that's another thing, yeah. Zenex didn't essentially only got to play half his team this turn, only getting 2 turns as opposed to Dracolich's 4. It is just incredible the amount of pressure that he's able to apply through those extra turns, getting now another affliction.
This turn was the deciding turn, I think. It's going to take a lot of things to take it back, you know.
Because even under the assumption that, you know...
Look, there's no bleeds on Dracolich's team. They've got a Houndmaster, no bleeds. What's going on here?
Exactly. And even beyond the no bleeds, the Flagellant is very close to low health, so even if he does get them, he would be able to just reclaim it right back up or redeem it.
You have what you really do have to wonder right now if Zenex is casually acknowledging the fact that the Flagellant can heal, or whether he just hasn't hit that amount of health yet, you know?
Yeah, that is true, that is true. Right, potentially been trying to avoid the Hound's Harry just specifically...
That's an interesting choice there. Oh, yeah. He's pointed out the bleed there, but still, that bleed, I don't know about... You could have chosen him later, let them get you down to Death's Door, and then use it on yourself. That turn economy there is a lot better.
Right, I agree that
the bleed early.
Yeah, I agree that him taking the Vestal turn there was a bit preemptive. Let's see, Houndmaster now at Death's Door.
Now he's picked Houndmaster to go lick wounds. He's taken that fucking taking that damage on himself again.
Hey, no worries, no worries. But yeah, like, he just really can't afford to use Hound's Harry at the moment. Flagellant is on the brink of being able to heal, and Man-at-Arms is still maintaining that riposte. Just, he's not able to use any of his spread moves to get
you have to think in that scenario then, why would you pick him? You pick him, you need the bleed to go to Death's Door. He's restored himself, but that's not enough. And now he's got a stun because of that.
Right. Yeah, I initially said that I preferred the Crusader, but just from how this game's been going with the Man-at-Arms maintaining his riposte while also, you know, having the Flagellant, I genuinely think that...
You love to see the riposte on a stress comp every now and again.
Yeah, absolutely, because...
this game.
Yeah, you lose out on, you know, like a couple turns where you could bellow, but just the amount of extra stress and general pressure that you apply by having riposte up is far more than worth it.
You pop back a riposte crit, and that's 20 damage across the team, perhaps. It's really nothing to scoff at. Something I've learned this game, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is that street
Ghost Retribution, maintaining his riposte. Man-at-Arms on Zenex's side. Man-at-Arms on
Zenex's going to reduce the effect of the riposte, though. The riposte doesn't start at 100% damage without particular trinkets. If he does bellow that enough, perhaps the riposte might be nullified. But it's turn 6 now, and that's not happened, so it is a bit late.
Right, but at the same time, Dracolich's Houndmaster has been just completely dominating this game.
Exactly.
Zenex hasn't been able...
Zenex's Houndmaster's done.
Exactly. Like, you look at Dracolich's team, he has a single infliction, and even then it's on the Flagellant, who, if you have to pick one person to have an infliction, you're picking Flagellant every time.
You're going Rapturous every single day, brother. We're starting to see the first few afflictions now on Dracolich's side, but still, we're looking at 2 versus 4, and again, Dracolich has the health advantage. The only person he's got who's even close to dying is the one character that can self-heal to full health while doing damage and bleeding your opponent.
And even beyond stress and...
Oh, and his crit! You see that
Oh, the
crit?
crit.
You love to see it. More
Wow.
stress damage, more stress damage.
More stress damage, just more damage overall, threatening the Crusader into death's door.
Look at that bleed on Crusader. I reckon next turn he's going to pop right down.
Right.
Guys, do you have like stream issues or is it
I was
just
gonna-
me?
The stream is laggy for me. I was going to mention
Yeah,
it.
the screen is completely froze on my side.
It has frozen for me too. Crap.
Right, I believe it's
Oh, you're
something to do
liking
with
it, by
Zenex.
the way, Mike.
Oh, it's a very interesting game, but I like to kind of keep it going.
Right.
I feel like, yeah,
Guys, if
Zenex...
you're listening to the stream, slow the fuck down, yeah? Slow it down. Let it rope out.
Yeah.
Even try restarting the stream.
So it's not a stream like this. Oh yeah, Zenex's stream is in trouble, yeah.
Yeah, Zenex's stream is
Yeah.
just... Yeah, not responding at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so...
something back now. I just had a different thing.
Oh, alright. It's still the same for me. Flagellant, yeah, like...
Okay, we're
Oh,
back,
there
we're
we
back,
go.
guys, we're back. We're back.
There we go, finally. Alright, let's see, what did we miss?
So let's see what's happened here. You know what? I'm starting to think that Zenex has a big chance of taking this back now, let's be honest. He has no
Absolutely, yeah.
buffs. He can bellow. Then,
Mhm.
if you bellow the Houndmaster so much, his Hounds Harry cannot proc Deathbow. That's
Correct.
not a viable strategy.
Mm-hmm. At this point, the Vestal is safe for this turn, can't be targeted by the enemy Vestal. Even so, choose to go for the party heal over a single target potentially on the Houndmaster to keep him out of death's door from the stress.
You really have to wonder about that, but then again, you need to see the fact that this guy's got so much bleed stacked on him.
Right.
You see, but then the restoration, again, situations like that, you've got to understand that perhaps single target heal might keep on a dead sword for just that one turn, and this might
Absolutely.
be his sacrifice turn. I'm sure on
Yeah,
some
and
of the games.
And at the same time, a single bellow from Zenex could completely change the tides of this game, because the Flagellant is very close to having a heart attack as well. The Vestal and Houndmaster on Dracolich's side are essentially a single bellow away from, having gained an affliction. However, on
We need
Zenex's
to
side,
be worried about Zenex right now, don't we? Look at that. 3 on that still. I think this
3 on
time...
death's door. And a pass. That is unfortunate.
Oh! That
hate
can't
to
do
see
the
it
game.
happen.
That's the only thing that could have saved this entire healer, pushing just a little bit out of that store. The bleed, the blight might still have got them, but again, it would have saved them
Potential
one
stun
turn of death.
Houndmaster.
Oh, and it
And
went
he
through it
gets
40%
stunned.
again. You do not like to see that, do you, brother?
Dracolich's luck when it comes to these stunts have been insane.
Someone named this Vestal Lady Luck because, oh my god.
Name the Vestal Lady Luck. I'll join you naming my antiquarian it.
To be honest, if we're Zenex right now, I've been against worse than this. All you need to hope is afflictions, pass, hit each other, stun each other. There are a few people here who can maybe stun each other.
Yeah, because the only person on Dracolich's side that is close to a heart attack is the Flagellant, and I mean, when he gets it, he's just able to heal right back up.
This is a very... I mean, we've seen all games. Zenex has had a kind of strategic error, perhaps. On turn 3 or 4, he popped his... was it the protection buff? He popped
Yeah,
the
the
protection
bulwark,
buff.
yes.
Exactly, yeah, against a stressed DOT comp. So you do have to think about that.
And with that,
Oh, that was a double death blow.
Wow,
Oh,
being on the
God.
heart attack is just raw double death blow from Flagellant.
Wow.
And with that, I believe this game is practically sealed.
I would say this game was sealed quite a long time before that, but that Flagellant is just showing... You know, you've seen Mike before kind of sleeping on the Flagellant, but honestly, against stress comps in particular, Flagellant is a solo counter.
Absolutely, yeah. Flagellant, he generally struggles against teams that are able to, easily move your team around things, like Abomination and theoretically even Leper.
You do
Just,
hate
push
to
him back, but
see the amount of
yeah.
abominations in queue right now, in Darkest especially, you're never really going to get a turn 3 with him.
yeah, absolutely. But in 1v1s involving stress, especially when Abomination isn't there, Flagellant has shown himself to put in more than enough work to justify his slot.
I mean, well, I want to see the trinkets on the Flagellant doesn't actually have the on hit -10 stress trinket. You would kind of like to see that on him, to be honest. This is somewhat of a sustained comp. It's got the Houndmaster Bleed, the Vessel AM Healing, and the Man at Arms there for the Bella. So this guy is the same comp. I think you would like to see that, to be honest.
Yeah, with the Flagellant's trinkets, he obviously has the snuff, though the other trinket, if I recall correctly, it gives him additional damage on people who are bleeding. I'm not entirely sure.
It's accuracy, damage, and crit. But it also, whenever you attack, I think it gives you bleeding as well. It might be a different trinket, though. One thing I always wonder about as well is, you've got the move resist trinket on a Flagellant, even then you're only 70%. Is that really high enough?
Exactly, yeah. Really, I feel like the snuff is one of the most interesting trinkets to talk about, just because it's sort of a matter of, obviously the additional stun resistance is very helpful, but when most people see it, the only thing they think of is
damage on turn 1. Exactly. This is the thing that I always think about. This turn order is so important. Again, Zenex, we've seen turn order put him into Death's Door every time. He plays someone that can heal, but he has so much blight and bleed on him, boom, into Death's Door. If you wait for him last, you know what, you can take 1 or 2 death blows just into your raw health points, can't you? Now we see that Man at Arms just going Bella. You know, there have been weirder chances from Man at Arms to solo a team, but I don't think this will be it. I really don't think this will be it.
I've had my fair share of games where a Man at Arms have been able to just win outright through spamming Bellow, but against 4v1, especially against another team that is applying such high stress, I don't think that's going to happen.
And this stun as well, 55, it'll go through, won't it?
It went through, yeah.
You know it will.
Yep.
One thing just to kind of slightly mention before the end of the game is that trinket on the Man at Arms, the accuracy and debuff chance one. In a pure stress comp, people quite often would think, Man at Arms, he does AoE stress, just dunk stress trinkets on him. But you cannot underestimate, however you want to think about it, the importance of getting that 20% damage off each turn. The only thing that can reliably counter it is an Arbalest.
And even then, Arbalest, while a very strong character, you usually don't see in other dedicated stress comps, so in the mirror match, just the debuff can prove to be exceptionally helpful.
I think the debuff is the death blow. There is the death blow. I think what you do have to also appreciate is that I think Dracolich's teammate, while they were both stress DOT comps, Dracolich had a little bit more damage over time, and the protection you got from the Crusader and the Man at Arms do not apply to those DOTs, so they're completely worthless, to be honest.
Right.
I think right now we're waiting for them to pick 2 new comps and to queue up into game 2 of the best of 3. That was a very, very, very interesting game. What thoughts do you have about that?
No, guys, it's not a best of 3 actually. We're having another matchup now.
Oh, so it's only. Yes, it's a series of 1v1. Zenex faced Alia, so now he's going to be facing Mr. Waffles, I believe. And then afterwards, Mr. Waffles is going to be facing Alia.
What do you think about the composition there from Dracolich, though? We're having an interview with the winner, rather.
There's no winner. I mean, potentially there is going to be one winner, right? So whoever wins the most matches will get an interview, I suppose. Guys, so how did you guys feel about that Vestal passing when she could have healed 3 people there?
Obviously, it's very unfortunate. You hate to see Affliction's, proc, but usually pass is considered to be like one of the worst things that could happen. Though in that situation, Zenex was so far behind that I don't think that the healing would have done anything. Yeah, I feel like if he had gotten the turn, his best chance would have been to just try and stun something and gain a bit of momentum, because just continually healing and staying on the back foot is bad enough. It's even worse when you're facing another stress comp.
You need to also appreciate with these things, people have a confirmation bias. Quite frankly, I've been in games before where, I'll get really lucky rolls over and over, dodge, and then I might lose a 30%, 45% like death blow chance, and I'll get tilted over that. I know, Mike, you do as well. The things like one pass, quite frankly, it was a stress mirror. That was, we should have seen more passes than that.
Yeah, honestly,
twice in a row, and that was with you, Mike. You know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I do.
Over there.
I feel like the stress mirrors are one of the most interesting matchups in the game right now, because it takes a lot of accuracy, a lot of very small decisions to take you to the end of the game. I feel like if Zenex had been actually stunning a little bit more of that Vestal, onto the Houndmaster, maybe he would have actually taken this game. Like this is a matter of like
good.
this is like really a game of inches there, wasn't it? Every stress versus stress is if you like can take this additional little inch, it can take you a mile really sometimes.
The thing to always keep note of, especially with these DOT heavy comps, is that when you stun someone, they don't do anything, but they take another turn of DOT damage, don't they?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
But like, it will tick off anyway. Let's say you stun the Vestor, he ticks down to Death's Door. What are you going to do? You can't heal with him. He's stunned. You're going to have to wait to pick him last. And what are you going to do there?
Guys, you have to wait for Alia. Alia, are you on on our Discord server?
Yep.
Okay, mate, can you stream for us?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can, but I have an old computer, but
Okay,
I think
so
it
maybe-
will be fun.
So perhaps Waffles could stream. Waffles, how is your computer? How do you feel? Can you stream that?
I need to be back for
Probably.
about a minute or two. Don't fucking start the game without me, okay? Fucking
No problem.
kidding me.
Okay, so if Alia with a game, right? Alia took that previous one. So we have
Yeah.
Alia with 1 point, Zenex with 0, and Waffles with 0 so far. So that's our state of the game for us. So here we are, guys. Let's see where the next game will take us. So let's see who. So yeah, Waffles will probably be the streamer for us. Thanks for sharing that feed, mate. So
Can you
go
see
to-
everything?
Not yet. I don't know. Oh wait. It's here. It's here. Hold on.
Some things to remember are if you alt tab or turn off the stream, it'll pause for everyone else.
Yeah. So you can't
Yeah.
hold
Stay
tab.
on the stream as long as possible.
Yeah. Alright, so what, Sis and I will be doing the Shoutcast first for this
I'd
game?
love that. I'd love
Alright.
that, Mike. That would be so
Excellent. Lovely stuff,
fun. I'll
mate.
let you take lead, so you do what you do, and every now I'll interject with like, you need to look at the accuracy buff on that as well. That was only 60, you know what I mean? We've got it, pal. Killer.
Guys, I'll just go around get some water, okay? And then we'll just be getting into that game. So whenever you guys are ready, you can start. I'll just kind of jump back and forth, and we'll be going with game number 2 here of this FFA. Basically, it's kind of an FFA here of sorts, right? So let's just go. I'll just come back in a second.
And then I will be here.
No. Hold on. Yeah, talk to me. I really want to know what you think about that game. Because there was some interesting kind of plays. You say misplays, to be honest, but like, if you remember it, what do you think were the kind of most pivotal turns?
What? Again,
Not
please.
you, the
Okay.
guy who I was fucking streaming with.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm back in here.
That was
So,
fucking quick.
What?
Sis, you there?
Wow, yeah, that was very fast.
I asked him a big question. Can you let him answer just for a second? Sorry.
I'm ready, by the way.
Oh, hold on a moment. Am I dumb? Sis, was that question directed at me?
Yeah, of course it was. We just watched that
Well,
together. Like a bit,
because
you know
I'm
what I
the-
mean? I don't think we thought about it.
Hey, I already told you I have a collective 3 brain cells. Alright, so
Fuck.
there were a couple of very interesting moves. Honestly, I think one of the sort of biggest turning points was obviously the initial turn when Dracolich started to stack inflictions onto
Exactly.
the Houndmaster and Crusader. Alongside that, just Zenex choosing to go for the Bulwark with the Crusader, wasting his turn. You know, it wasn't the smartest of play, and even beyond like what was in game, just the choice to, for whatever reason, which I'm not entirely certain of, not be running the stun on the Crusader, which is really one of his best traits, was just questionable in my mind.
You always need to think about the turn. I think through that entire game, what we appreciate here is how important it is when you pick your character. That's
Absolutely,
probably
yes.
the most important thing in this entire game. We saw him repeatedly pick someone, DOT down into Death's Door, heal. Pick someone else, DOT down into Death's Door, heal.
Exactly,
It's,
yes.
And even apart from that, strategically, we saw him target the Flagellant. We know what happens when you target a Flagellant, don't we, boys? Especially as a stress comp.
The first rule of Flagellant is
You don't
whatever
target
you
him.
do, don't get him to 40% HP or less. Just,
Unless you can just
Just
burst him
don't.
down, right? If you have enough, you can probably just
Not
take
e-
him down.
Mike,
I mean,
against a good Flagellant player, like I played Flagellant at my last game. I literally maneuvered I knew when he was going to attack my Flagellant, when I was going to DOT down. I did that to heal the rest of the team out of Death's Door. I healed the Plague Doctor with my Flagellant 3 turns in a row out of Death's Door. A good Flagellant player will destroy you if you aren't thinking. If you're an autopilot,
Absolutely.
a good Flagellant
Yeah, like-
is like, you can't do anything against me, I'll survive
Indeed,
12
yeah.
turns.
So,
Yeah, like
however,
in my
like,
game 3 against Sis, towards the end and towards the end game, when he was out of the redeem, I was just trying to do everything I could to sort of, like keep him low and keep him in check, but make sure he doesn't hit death's door, just because that makes so that the whole party heals for a small amount, potentially gets them off death's door, gets them out of range for, some DOT damage that would get them on that, and just, it's not a fun time.
Guys, let's get into the game, alright? Because we are waiting here. I think our audience is waiting as well, so let's just get started with game number 2 here. As soon as you guys are ready. So,
Yeah, I clicked.
way. Perfect. So good luck, have fun to both of you. And this is double darkest matchup here. It's going to be quite interesting. We saw like
darkest 1. 3 rather.
Darkest 3, indeed. Yeah, double darkest 3 here. We have I guess it's a stress focus, and it's quite a strange composition from Waffles. I need to see the triggers actually.
One word. Dodge.
Yeah.
Wow. I think for Moby Mr. Waffles, what we're seeing here is perhaps a dodge heavy build. You've got those full dodge ones to the back of the man-at-arms with that dodge buff. That might be the only reason he's taken that, but again, man-at-arms, that protection buff, won't do anything against these DOTs.
Yeah, there you go. That's where you do going first, especially in a stress mirror. You just get that.
Selentia with dual casting of Sis.
Oh, sorry, okay. Go away, Mercy, I love you. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah. Right, sorry, it's like, I think we had like a deal here. So it's like, I don't, if you guys want to keep dual casting, I don't mind that.
Mike, after this you can do with him. I would like to do this with you.
Oh,
okay,
I see. Alright.
Exactly. We start off with
it's so messy, it's so messy. So it's like high dodge stacking composition. It's like, yeah, the man at arms is just for bolster, I suppose. So they don't quite have that much stress damage, do they?
You see a Vestal there with a finisher trinket. That's what you love to see. That's because the stun every single chance he can get it.
Okay, let's see where it actually goes here. So Dracolich hasn't quite changed that much from the previous game, has he? So he's basically running the same composition. Whereas Waffles here, like, obviously he's a new player in this series, you haven't seen him before. So he's running, I guess, some sort of a comfort composition. And, with the amount of dodge he has, it might be quite difficult for Dracolich to actually go through those dodges. We've seen like those.
You need to worry about that flashing daggers, though, don't you? It's
yeah,
for the
you do.
debuff, but what does that debuff really do? He doesn't have stealth, but he does have panic guards. Is that for the blood? Is that for the stress? It's hard to tell right now, isn't it?
We'll see actually where.
Oh, and that's stun. You didn't dodge it. You see, this is why you don't like stun.
Yeah, nobody likes stun, do they? However, Vestas does have quite high accuracy on that ability, so it might.
We've got the accuracy buff here. Coming out a bit late for my liking, to be honest. Last thing, you want to use that first.
Yeah, that's true. On the other hand, he hasn't missed that much, right? So it's okay. All those double dodges, Jesus. This is gonna be brutal, actually, for Dracolich to go through this. He has quite a lot of low accuracy attacks across the board.
Dodge again. You need to wonder if this Antiquarian is literally just the dodge bot, don't you? Is she gonna start blighting later on? Because he's not doing any damage. There's no DOTs on him. He's got a Jester, a Grave Robber, and an Antiquarian.
But the Jester will start spamming Harvest eventually, right? It's just a matter of time. He's gonna go now already. So we have Hemlock here, interestingly. So there's a build I really like myself. I feel like I like Hemlock on the Flagellant as well, where it can actually apply quite a lot of pressure. However, when you think about the Flagellant of Dracolich in this particular game, he has quite low accuracy, right, on those AoE attacks. So this might be quite a problem. Actually, most of the Flagellant's attacks are quite inaccurate. So
I think the thing you always need to understand with this game is that people who perhaps knew, when I first started, I put damage on everything. 75-85% accuracy on my Flagellant. People they're going to have 10-20 dodge, yeah? Dodge and accuracy, they counteract. If you really are going to put many accuracy trinkets on yourself, you need to appreciate that sometimes you're going to miss, and quite a lot, and they will be vital.
Okay, he does actually get both bleeds here on the Flagellant. There's going to be huge for the rest of the game. No, actually the bleed on the Jester didn't go through. So the backline is taking some damage for Waffles. It's just a question of how much is it taking, and whether the stress that Dracolich is applying is going to be enough. It might be, honestly. Because
I think Dracolich has got this game, to be honest.
Yeah, he has a very tanky comp.
He's doing more damage, he's doing more stress.
Yeah,
you need to think right now, what is Waffles doing?
I don't know, honestly. Dracolich has a very, very tanky composition, with this very squishy lineup of Waffles. I don't think he has enough time to just go through that, defensive layers that Dracolich is, just holding here in this particular game.
We have not even got into the defensive layers right now. We've got a Vestal and a Flagellant that have not used either of their heals. The Flagellant solo targeted the Hellmaster once, but again, if you try and single target someone against a comp like this, 2 dedicated healers that can crit to full health, you're not going to do it. You're just not.
The dodge might just not be enough. I feel the dodge might not be just enough. However, I feel like the man-at-arms of Dracolich has not used his buff for accuracy yet. Does he have that? I think he has the update.
He's not used it yet, yeah.
Yeah, but he should have probably done that.
Well, I mean, right now, you need to understand, like, Dracolich... I was about to ask you how well you think luck has favoured both sides, but Dracolich has hit Moldy Mr. Waffles an awful lot when he shouldn't have. Yeah. We do need to appreciate that right now, I think. Like, that gesture's at 55, 65, maybe 75 with the Antiquarian. Hit. Look at those bleeds stacked across the board.
So the question is, like, does he eventually go for the execute of the jester? I think next turn he just has to go for it. Maybe, I guess if he can target down the man-at-arms and just kill him straight away, that would be really sweet. So it actually has, like... He actually has to be quite safe about this, because, you know, I guess he can just Shadow Fade with the Grave Robber and just go for the execute, but those stuns that Dracolich has on the Vestal, I feel like if Dracolich just stalls it with the Vestal, just waits for the Shadow Fade, he can prevent that kill from ever taking place.
Shadow Fade, man. This is something that I thought about earlier. If you're going to take Grave Robber with Panic Darts, you take a Shadow Fade, don't you? This is a very mobile composition, so maybe you don't need to push back to push someone forward, but still, it's such an effective tool.
Yeah. It sets up your Jester for a kill as well here, right?
Exactly, it does, doesn't it? I'm even wondering, does this Jester have Finale?
Yeah.
That's it? Oh, that's a good crit though.
Yeah, but it's like, on the Flagellant, do you really want to do damage to the Flagellant? We just talked about this, right? So it's like, the lower the Flagellant is, the more dangerous he becomes for your entire composition. Like, this basically just is very difficult to plan. Like, you know, if you play this high AoE composition that damages the Flagellant, it's so hard to just plan out like how to play this, because if you take him to 0 HP, it just resets the fight basically, and we might just see this very soon. Okay, so we go for the...
You love to see crits even against a Flagellant, sometimes during stress comps, but you take Panic Darts on a character on a comp rather, that can't stress. You do need to wonder, half of the kind of value in that ability is baked into the stress. Its turn bears the accuracy very, very, very late after the Flagellant, who doesn't have good accuracy. That's something you do need to worry about.
Yeah.
This turn order is very weird.
You can imagine this going like with the, you know, sorry, if the Grave Robber Shadow Fading, and then you just get the Gestures execute on the man-at-arms this turn, this would probably have, you know, meant a lot of pressure for Waffles, would have probably brought him back into this game. You know, you do have to appreciate though the amount of DOTs that is... Yeah, you have to appreciate the amount of dots that are actually on Dracolich right now, because
that Antiquarian's gone next turn, isn't he? You know, even if he dodges the attack, that DOT's going to take him down. He can't restore it.
It's like, basically, the next turn, I think, just since the Vestal has already gone, taken her turn, and the guard from the man-at-arms prevents the Jester from, you know, actually being stunned at all.
That was a weird play. What do you think about that lick wounds? He licked wounds. He had no reason to. He could have applied pressure, right?
That's true. That's true. It's like, it's quite strange. So he had the dodge. It's like he guarded.
It comes to Finale, brother.
He planned it, but it's like very well. That's a kill. Yeah. But this was well planned.
Come through the game, I think.
Yeah, because Waffles planned this ahead. Like, he guarded the Jester so that he could not get interrupted by the Vestal here. It basically just guarantees that this goes through. And this is like really tough situation for Dracolich.
As well.
Honestly, like, Waffles has held quite well. He hasn't taken that much stress damage either, right? He's doing very, very nicely here in terms of...
Yeah. All of this stress was from the first 1 or 2 rounds. You see this Handmaster licking wounds over and over again.
Yeah, that's quite weird indeed.
It's...
I mean, the amount of dots is quite reasonable here, so I guess that's why he was doing that.
And the tables have turned again. At the beginning of the game, Mr. Waffles was covered in DOTs. Dracolich had them, and now look.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Graver actually having that flask skill that she hasn't used yet?
I think the flask skill, quite frankly, is it increases dodge and it removes blight and bleed. It doesn't heal, and there are no trinkets that can make you heal. It is, I would say, worthless. What do you think about it, to be honest?
Not a big fan myself either, so I think he could have just taken the Shadow Fade there and just, you know, he would have been so much more versatile in this. I think he still's got this, right? It looks like he's about to take this game.
I think some classes have iconic abilities, And if you're taking panic darts, well, first, if you're taking panic darts in a non-stress comp, why are you taking panic darts? You know, the blight isn't that much. You can do much more things. Go death blow on the grave robber, do single target lunge. In a game I had with this guy before, Selentia, 32 damage. I have 29 on a plague doctor. One shot kill.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. I mean, like, you have to kind of consider the fact that those are actually applying damage over time. So against high protection characters, I guess the darts are not so terrible. But again, pick to the face does go through all the protection you have.
God.
So maybe it's not entirely necessary. I feel like this Grave Robber has kind of misplaced her abilities a little bit across the board. Definitely, like, you could just ditch the darts for lunge and maybe the flask for the Shadow Fade, right? Then she would be probably like smashing this fight really and setting up the Jester for much easier kills. Though it is going fairly well.
Here though is he's stacking up the blight on the Handmaster that's got restoration. So here, and he is afflicted. It is a bit. It's turn 6, you know. These kind of things you would like to see earlier. You have to wonder whether or not he thought about that earlier. But the blight is harder than the restore. Even right now, if that Houndmaster was to lick wounds every turn, whenever it's his next turn, it's going to pop him down to death's door. He needs either his lick wounds or the Vestal to heal him. That might.
Oh my god!
You love to see that, don't you? That is why riposte is so important.
That's brutal. Holy shit! That's just absolutely brutal for Waffles. Like, he has taken threshold in this game. He's not gonna let this go, right? It's just gonna be GG. I feel like from there, like, I don't see any way back into the game for Dracolich. He lost all his stress damage. Like, there's just a stun and a heal. Like, 2 healers left.
There's a Vestal left alive against a stress comp.
Yeah, what do you do?
I reckon they might have it. You know, if we see a lot of luck here. Exsanguinate, crit, Death Store, Stunning Blow, Death Store, Death Blow, dead. 1 down, 2 to 3. And if they kill the Man-Arms, what do they really have? They've got the Rejuvenating Vapors, they've got Dodge, they've got Stress, and they've got a Jester that's already finale. What I wanted to see here was them killing the Jester earlier. He's already used his finale, right? Kill him.
That's true. I mean, once the Jester uses the finale, he's kind of expendable as well. Like, you can just sort of sacrifice him. It's also like a very easy target, right? So see what actually comes out of this for Dracolich, because he might kind of get lucky here with the the death blows, and he might be back, right? So that's what you said, I think. Oh, I would just go for damage here, man. I would just go for damage.
I'd go for a Dark Stab on the Vestal. I think.
Yeah, you can't do this. Like, she's too far.
What is this for? What is this for?
I don't know, but you can't dex up the Vestal, right? Because she's too far. Like, you cannot dex up 4th row, I think. Can you?
You can. I think it's all of us. It's all 4. It's 4 before, and I think so.
Yeah, I think Dexter doesn't go.
That Jester, when he chooses his turn, he's going dead here. He's going to pop into Death's Door. The Antiquarian as well. If Dracolich plays this properly, Reign of Sorrows on the backline, 2 death blows 1 time.
This might actually work, yeah, that's true. It's just quite scary, honestly, for him. Because I feel like he had this, like, he had the clutch here, but it doesn't quite seem to be the case anymore. And yeah, do you just pick the Antiquarian just to drop this final region across the board for your characters?
If I was taking an Antiquarian, what I'm thinking is, listen, I'm done. I need some kind of saving role.
Don't do this.
Listen, brother. He's not in a winning position right now, I'd have to say. I would honestly have to say. Like, Vessel and Flagellant, they can heal so literally every turn. Flagellant die. If he does this correctly, Blight takes Flagellant down to Death's Door, heals a Vessel out of Death's Door. Vessel stuns, heals both of them. They can keep each other alive indefinitely. This is a game for both people. I seriously believe that.
Yeah, that's true. This is gonna be close. And they're not even actually afflicted, so this will take a long time for Waffles to actually, control this. I guess for stress, like, if you stress them hard enough, they actually start acting out afflicted, right? This might be opportunity for him. Okay, he takes the Vessel down to affliction now.
That panic darts is going to afflict him. You do not like to see that.
Yes, so this might actually be like a way back into this, because as you're saying, like, honestly, these guys can be healing indefinitely. True. I'm worried that like the Antiquarian does eventually just drop dead. So for Waffles, and this may be curtains. Like, if the Antiquarian just dies there from something, right? It's maybe it.
What I want to see here from Dracolich is there are 3 people on Death's Doors. Maybe 2 turns ago, he should have recognized that and went, boom, you're dead. And he's in a situation now where he's got 3 people with like 0, exactly, Death's Door. He's not been Death Doored before, he's not been Death's Blowed. He's going to stress out now. He might even... he resists the stun again. That's what you get for trying to stun man-at-arms, a high base resist character.
Reeling, gasping, taken over the edge into...
Alright, let's see where this actually goes here. I'm curious whether he just tries to regen this with the Antiquarian. He could have waited a single second, like he could have waited a single turn, right? Because he could have just waited to go to Dev's door with the Antiquarian, then activated her. The bleed from the Flagellant, which is very likely to come through, is probably just going to pierce through that anyway. So it's going to kind of negate all the regeneration.
Mr. Waffles, can you mute us both on Discord? You're kind of... You can listen to what we're saying and you're kind of highlighting things. Don't do that, yeah? You don't listen to us, brother. I don't want to kind of break it, but honestly, just mute and deafen yourself, please, yeah? Oh, that pauses the stream. Okay, don't do that. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Just turn the volume down to minimum, yeah? See, you know what I mean?
It's good, it's good, it's good. Like, just don't change anything until the game is over. Then we'll just think about this, okay? Okay, let's see where we actually are. Let's just allow the players to focus, I guess. It's okay.
Are we seeing a flashing darts here? This guy is so interested in getting those 2 middle corpses down.
Yeah.
You saw him harvesting them, and now he's flashing daggers. On one of them.
No, dangers, man. It's dangers. You
misspelled.
Learn your pronunciation. Our British are
In it, bruv. In it.
Oh, okay. We go through with this. I actually expected
that is interesting.
The harvest to go through, because if you drop the harvest, like, you know, invest into the several following turns really, and it does a lot of damage. Like, it's quite decent base and actually does bleeding. So I would just definitely have harvested this. And you know, there is like no advantage having the grave robber in the third with no lunge, right? So that kind of doesn't do anything for you.
I think this guy has kind of... He's got a tactic that he wants to play with the Jester, and then he's got when he wants to play with the Grave Robber. And that's a death blow. Reasonably unlucky, but, you know.
Yeah, it's like...
What's he going to go for here? Well, he's going to take... Yeah, good sacrifice pick there, maybe. Going to take the Jester, do something, and then acknowledge
you can no longer harvest this. Shit. Okay, so... You see, like, this just does... This only does 5 damage. Vesta has a 0 bleed resistance. The bleed would have actually taken her to death blow chance already. That's okay. She actually goes to 0 with the blight. That's... I didn't notice that she had like 8 stacks of blight there. So maybe the deck sub wasn't that terrible. She can just keep healing. You know, the bleed is like long-term investment into doing damage, and he doesn't have this going. Like, if this Gesture is dead, there is like nothing left after him, right? That's what it is. Like, he just doesn't leave anything for the team to kind of contribute anymore.
You know what, brother? What I think is very interesting is that Jester. How long ago did he finale? When I have a Jester on my team, he finales, he's dead. That's what he's there for. He got that 1 kill so early on. What we've not seen with Mr. Waffles is taking control of that kill, pushing the game into his tempo with it. Because he got that kill very early on, and they've just not focused down that Jester. Jester has got no dodge, takes double stress. Just kill him. It's really that simple.
Yeah. Let's look at the, actually this Vesta is taking a lot of damage and stress damage as well. Oh, the Devlo goes through again. Well, she does have the finisher, right? That's the reason why it did go through. But
this right now is such an interesting comp, and I'll tell you
if he
why.
crits it out, this kill! Oh my god!
You love to see that, brother!
He has the finisher, it's like 50-50 really.
Everything about it.
So that was very good actually.
Watch this though, that Rain of Sorrows, Bleed and Blot on both of them. He's not used Exsanguinate once. He's got this, I think.
I mean, those crits that he those darts were a crit. So even if this hadn't death blown the Vestal straight away, I think the stress would have already killed her, and they should have been 0 HP and at 200 stress there. There's a kind of a guaranteed kill, you know, regardless of the death blow. A double dodge here.
Double dodge there.
You have to remember that Waffles has a shitload of dodge here.
45 dodge, yeah.
Yeah.
That is why we've seen this guy do risky +10 dodge auras. When, you know, I said I would just do that, be really risky, and you know what? That risk I think has won this game for him. But we need to look. This Flagellant is in position 1. These two guys. Imagine a game where you think, oh no, my Antiquarian and Grave Robber are in the backline. He's gonna kill them. ... That restoration won't do it. Bleed and Blight +6 per turn.
Yeah, this does depend on like whether he actually gets to hit them at all, though, right? Because as we said already, like this is very low accuracy stuff for Flagellant. You might just keep missing that stuff. Like seriously, oh, he also does damage to himself here, and this actually, if this misses again on the Graver, I think this might be it. because the Grave Robber is stacking a lot of stress on this flagell. I think there might not be enough time in this game for Dracolich to actually just sustain through this. However, we have to remember that if those corpses disappear, Grave Robber in position 1, the setup that Waffles has here, is going to be quite weak. Just the pickaxe, right? So depending
this is the interesting thing. Dracolich, right? If I was Dracolich, I would want them to be in the back positions. You can hit both your damages and not come through melee strikes. Well, here's what you can't exsanguinate. You're going to exsanguinate a corpse.
He has to do this. Just to say in this game, he just has to do it. Yeah.
That right there, he lost this. I think.
Yeah.
This game was so interesting. I think we had Moldy Mr. Waffles. I kept saying, if he gets very lucky, targets the right person, he's got this. Maybe he's targeting the Fladge too much. And now look what's happened. It's a Fladge left alone on his own. He can't heal anyone else. He can only exsanguinate a corpse.
Yeah, I feel like those darts are actually paying dividends for Waffles. Seriously, they have won him this game, I think. This focus, stress, and blight is ridiculously strong for the late game scenarios where you have very few characters alive. And with this high dodge, you can just keep applying this. He takes zero. I think he took very little damage
now
across
we're
the
at
board.
turn 14. The RNG is gone. The first 4 turns, bad RNG for Dracolich. But now turn 14.
It's curtains, GG.
Oh, there we go. That was such a great game. What do you think about the RNG in that game, quite frankly?
Honestly, I think it was quite even. Those death blows were they're just trading death for blow, blow for blow. They both have finisher trinkets, so they're kind of helping their luck with that. So I feel like this was quite an even game.
Crap.
And
should we do an interview with them, or what do you think?
Let's wait for the end, okay? Let's just do the final third game, then the interview.
What I think about that game was the stress and the RNG was in waves. For the first 3-4 turns, we had 75 dodge Jester with the second turn buff going on, just not getting dodges, just getting hit and hit and hit. And then this is the thing with the dodge. If you get unlucky against a mark comp or a heavy comp, boom, he's just gone, he's dead. You miss 2 dodges in a row, that can kill you. It's that simple.
It's
but
true.
against a kind of sustained comp like this, those dodges will eventually pay dividends. And I think what we saw in that latter half of the game is a Grave Robber and the Antiquarian just starting to dodge, man. They're listening to Can't Touch This. I don't even know.
Okay, let's see. So the final game, I think I'll just be casting with Selentia here. So we'll be switching the casters a bit, alright? So we'll be just doing a dual cast. Thank you so much, Sis, for casting this. For those 2 casts that you did, was really magnificent stuff, man. So we'll be taking over with Selentia over this game. I think both parties are ready. They haven't made any changes to the composition, so they're just going ahead with what they have.
I see.
Yeah, I just have to add the score now. Okay, actually the changes are being made right now, so I'll actually tune out from there. I'll go back to I'll go to the bay. I'll just focus somewhere else so the players can't see what they're doing, right? So let's just stay out of there for a second. Let those guys do their stuff. Let them adjust their strategies, and let's see where we get with this.
And I personally love Sis's commentary. I think that it's very insightful and just generally you can tell how passionate he is about it, but at the very least, headphone users, you don't gotta worry about dying anymore.
Yeah, well, I might go crazy this one though, so we'll see about that.
It's possible.
So, as far as the score goes, it's Waffles 1 win, Alia 1 win, and Zenex 0. We might actually get a rematch, so depending on how this game goes, we might end up with Waffles either being 2-1-0, or Waffles and... Actually, everyone can be at 1-1-1 right now if this goes Zenex's way, and then I don't know how we decide on the winner here. I think we don't have the time to do a second series here, so I'm not sure. I know we just interviewed them all. It's going to be a 3-way tie. Crazy stuff then. So it's either either Waffles takes this entire series, or guys, we actually are going to be in a 3-way tie. That's absolutely crazy stuff.
And no matter what happens here, I think everyone who has participated and everyone who is watching this on YouTube can agree that these have been fantastic games. We've had a lot of energy from both commentators and players, been a lot of very interesting things happen, very unique games being played, and generally from what we're seeing from these is people tend to play stress comps, which against normal builds, might not be the most entertaining to watch, but I still think that the stress mirror is the best part of Darkest Dungeon. It's practically like watching a high-level game of chess with just how skillful and in-depth it is.
It is. It's true. Like as we said already, the game of inches, right? And this is. I think they're like very good at making certain decisions here. I'm actually quite surprised to see Vestal in those stress compositions there, because she was actually a part of quite a few of those games. So I'm curious how it kind of develops in here, like whether those guys go for straight up damage perhaps, or they do go for stress again, or whether we'll just see like stress versus something, right? I'm actually very curious whether those guys do decide to stick there. I do see some changes already on Waffles' side. I just don't want to mention this yet, so we'll just kind of wait for those guys to get going with the game, and we'll actually see those final compositions. Can someone ban Camplier, please, on the chat?
Yep, bot. Yep, bot just spamming.
Shit, we have to ban this stuff.
You have chosen this foe.
Okay, we're into the game actually. Sis, moderate this guy out. Oh, you're not mod on Twitch, son of a bitch. I have to go. I have to do this myself. Okay, gone. Alrighty, so we're into the match now. I need to switch the screen. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, people on.
We are in the final game of the series, guys. This is going to be like one-on-one on FFA versus with Zenex, with Waffles, and with our third competitor whose name I just forgot. Crap. Who is the third? We have this. Actually, we have this on the screen.
It's
Alia,
Waffles, Zenex, and then Alia.
Who counts with a different name on the screen, obviously, right? So we have those three players here, and we'll see who takes this final part of this game.
We have, some fairly standard plays coming in from both sides. The Man-at-Arms from Zenex just bolsters up, trying, gain some resistance to stress, as well as obviously the dodge, while the Jester, I believe, went for the Battle Ballad to give the whole team nice accuracy to sort of counteract that. After that, we see both sides just trading stuns, trying to sort of maintain action economy, make sure one player doesn't get too far ahead of the other.
Yeah, it's quite rough for like the Crusader users if you go second and your Crusader's already stunned in a Crusader versus Crusader matchup. I feel like this going first is extremely important here. Obviously, I feel like Arbalest on Waffles actually is going to help him a ton, because those two stuns that Zenex has brought with this composition, they're not going to matter that much if if two characters are eventually stunned here. Oh, that's a huge chunk of damage on the Vestal as well. So we see
Vestal taking a solid 29 from the Arbalest, already applying great pressure to it. Just
Zenex goes
we're turn
first
one,
again.
and already Zenex is not safe from just getting a killing blow.
Okay, we get the Bellwalk of Light. I would actually go for the Stun again, the Crusader. You just kind of withdraw a lot of pressure here, and this 20% protection, I don't feel it matters that much. I mean, I've played a very similar composition as Waffles, right? And I kind of don't feel like that protection would actually help you that much against this.
Right, it's certainly better than using Bulwark against just a pure stress team, but I don't think that it's going to be doing a lot. However, Waffles tries to get a very greedy play, tries to get a stun on the Man-at-Arms with his extremely high base resistance, and Zenex just replies by sort of trying to get his Vestal healed up so that it isn't applied, have much pressure applied to it, though Waffles isn't having, he just gets it right back down. Not at death's door yet, but it is at huge risk.
Yeah, it is indeed. Like the question, if you do keep stunning the Man-at-Arms, he can never bellow you, right? So this is if you can get those stuns, obviously, this is really huge for you. However, with the Abomination, I'm curious what he does. Does he actually go for a push on this Crusader here?
Yeah, I believe slam. Yeah, just to
break the guard.
Slam him.
Oh, that's weird. Why? Why would he just push the Man-at-Arms? I would just put the Crusader out. That's like a stun out of the way, right? And now he has basically this Man-at-Arms in the back where the Man-at-Arms wants to be, I feel. Like, Man-at-Arms really likes to sit in the back and just be safe over there. Like, nothing can target him right now. I think he's just going to kind of start using stress. On the other hand, though, I think Zenex is running this sort of a weird stress-like composition, isn't he? Well, what does his comp do?
Despite what's happened so far... Yeah, despite what happened so far, we viewed Zenex as making a couple good plays, but he hasn't accomplished anything. He doesn't have any damage over time. No. He's applied literally zero stress. He's applied very little actual damage. Moldy Waffles just absolutely destroying him at the moment. He's just continuing to push everyone around, get Vestal in the second slot, so she's no longer able to use her major heal. She can't cleanse horror from anybody, so that could potentially stack up.
Yeah, but why don't you? Do you have a single reason not to pull the Crusader out of the front lines?
That I'm not entirely sure of.
I would always just be pushing the Crusader out. Like, this is I would say this is the biggest priority for for your abomination here. You know, as an abomination user, I would say like you should always just get rid of the Crusader from the front line. You know, obviously, especially that this Crusader has no Holy Lance. If he's in the back, he's just stuck there. He has to use move actions.
Wait a minute, Zenex is... Oh, goodness. If he doesn't have Holy Lance, then yeah, I have no clue why...
It's so huge, like if you just get rid of this Crusader to the backline, this is just over for this friend. It's crazy that he hasn't noticed this yet, and you know, he's not playing around this, so maybe there's some light in the tunnel.
Gets up to position 2, and now Zenex has lost something. Like, that is just something that he has to accept as a fact. He has lost something. I presume it's going to be the Houndmaster, but at the same time, he's applying kill pressure to it from the Arbalist as well, so...
Yeah, though not yet. Maybe the stun goes through on the Jester. You know, you can just save this like this. You can salvage this. You can no longer guard the Houndmaster, but you can just stun the Jester. You have to just go for it. Hail Mary here. Right. Is it gonna be the dodge?
That was a pretty good play from Waffles. Just because, we see the stun lands on the Jester. However, the Houndmaster is still at very serious risk of dying. So I think that was a pretty good safe play. And he pushes back the Vestal.
I don't know. This is one crazy abomination. I don't think this is like the best possible play, because he could have had this Vessel in the rank 1 here. He could have had the Vessel rank 1, just push the Crusader the hell out of this stuff, and just put him in the back. This means he can't do anything. He has to just be legitimately using move actions. Like,
absolutely, yeah. I have no clue what is happening here.
It's a bit odd, really. I want to see like the flare goes through. So, he cleanses. That's very smart play.
I do agree that flare was a good play.
Yeah, he gets a kill now on the Vessel. Probably, I would just go for the Vessel here if I were a. The question is, does he have enough stacks on the Jester with those stuns going through before? I think he may have been stunned before as well.
Another possibility, at least theoretically, is that he takes the Crusader's turn first to allow the damage over time on the Man-at-Arms to proc, and then potentially try and finale him instead.
Yeah, but the protection might be not enough. It's quite curious,
That is very true.
So I'm
so
actually
now
curious.
Waffles has a very big decision to make.
You know what I do? I would just Holy Lance the Vestal first, and then I would just kill her with the... Oh, that's weird. So
nope, you can't do that, because Jester would be pushed back to Series 3,
right, so, yeah, but he can just do this right now, doesn't he? He has the ability to do it right now.
Right, yes.
So he lances the Vestal and just kills her next round, or actually he can just go for the Man-at-Arms right now.
He cannot lance the Vestal. Lance can only target slots 1 through 3, I believe.
No, he...
Oh, no, never mind, you're right.
I apologize. I'm a Crusader user, man.
Yep, you can tell that I don't use them.
Yeah, let's see how it actually goes now. So he can heal now, Zenex can heal, right? He's gonna get the first move, so he can potentially just drop the healing and pray that this Jester doesn't have enough damage stacked. But I think he... Oh, that's brutal!
Wow, that is a very impressive...
That's a save right there. So do you just Holy Lance? I just Holy Lance the shit out of this Vessel. Oh!
Yep, get to the crate, there we go.
Oh, that's interesting. But I feel like the Vessel is the biggest issue for him, like... Oh right, that's basically the stress source, right, for Zenex. So if you kill you get this Man-at-Arms out of the way, this might be... Oh, the guard dog does come through. Abomination can guard break this instantaneously, though. That's not a big deal anyhow, so...
Absolutely,
we just go through
I think that was a very big misplay from Zenex.
Yeah, he should be doing some stress damage with this Houndmaster, seriously.
Yeah, like just the Houndmaster on Zenex has been on the back foot the entire time, and just even then I really don't think that helps his case, just because the Abomination was in position 3 anyway, so no matter what, he was forced to either just raw move or, you know, go for the push, which is obviously what he's going to do. So going for the guard on the Man-at-Arms, I really don't view as a good play.
Yeah, that's like basically history repeats itself, but this time the Jester is gonna get the kill here, right? For sure. So the Man-at-Arms is definitely absolutely dead, like as dead as they come. So the question is like...
Ending Bellow. Not going to be enough to save him, though. Again, stress could be helpful. The Abomination is very likely to have to transform back next turn.
No, that's a kill. That's a clean kill. Okay, so this is very nice setup. I like it. I like the Arbalist Jester actually very much. It's a very smart composition because you just secure the finale no matter what happens. You know, you can't prevent the Jester being pushed away, but that's basically it. You always get the execution.
The team has good amount of mobility. Unfortunately, it's all forward, so you can't really push the Jester forward. You can only sort of move him further back, but...
Yeah.
Even then, it just sort of makes it so that your entire team, if it gets pushed back, it's not the end of the world. Because, like, let's assume Jester's position 1, he gets pushed back, he uses Dirk Stab, goes up to position 2, then, you know, he just gets to finale that turn.
Yeah. I'm still questioning the Abomination play here. This Crusader should not be front row. Seriously, he should not be allowed to sit there. Are we stuck in the game, actually? Is this game stuck? Oh no.
Oh, is the game stuck? Oh, that would be
Looks like it
unfortunate.
actually. That's quite terrible. I think we're stuck in this place here. The counter is
Oh,
just entirely stopped here.
Apologies for that interruption.
It's fine. So I don't know what's going on actually. I think we just have to remake this, right? We just have to remake the game.
I presume so. Not entirely sure how we would do this.
I mean, I'm absolutely yeah. We just have to go from the get. We'll have to go from the zero. Really. Okay, the stream is over. Somehow it just got interrupted. But the problem is that this is
Yeah, I agree with what Zenex said. I presume they're just going to both start over from the beginning.
Yeah, though I feel like this was basically Waffles' game to lose at this point. Honestly, like Waffles has such a huge advantage here.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell because one of the things about like having top players fight is that usually when both people are making very optimal choices, it's like fairly easy to tell who's going to win after a while. But when you're dealing with people like who are misplaying every now and then, it can make the game more entertaining. Just because you really don't know who's going to win, because a play that could seem obvious, they just don't do, and that creates an entirely different state.
Yeah, indeed, that's true. Though I feel like he actually killed a man at arms without taking that much damage himself, so I think he was just going to be fine here. We do get the remake though, so we're gonna go back into the match here. Quite unfortunately, we got interrupted. I thought this was gonna be like a flawless series, really, but we are back into the game.
It was almost flawless, but
yeah, Darkest Dungeon strikes back, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And strike back at date. Okay, we're back into the game, so we're restarting this match. I feel like if Waffles just
Zenex did go first, so yeah, this should theoretically be fairly accurate since Zenex is going first once again.
Does he just go for the stun again? Honestly, like if I were Zenex, I would be stunning the Abomination, not the Crusader even, because this can really misplace you very, very hard. So I'll just
Yeah, I can definitely understand that.
Also,
Alright, so yeah, they're just recreating their first turn plays. Not much room for improvement there. Very standard plays, just bolstering, battle ballad, just getting your buffs up that last the whole fight.
How do you feel about the ballad actually with playing against compositions that don't have inherent dodge on them? Do you feel like it's still worth to drop the ballad anyway, or do you think it's like kind of wasted 10 that you could be using to just drop the damage from Harvest?
Well, the thing is, the team does have a slight bit of dodge thanks to the bolster with Man-at-Arms, but at the same time, just being able to get a lot more reliable, because even if the opponent doesn't have high innate dodge, not all moves have perfect accuracy, and so, like if you have a single move that would have missed and, like transitions into a hit thanks to the battle ballad, then it's already worth it, and on top of that, it's assisting and stacking Finale early up. Like, I just think that it's overall very helpful since alongside, the Finale, it gives Jester a bit more crit, and theoretically, like if he's able to crit a Harvest, then, it gets a ton of Blight and Bleed, applies immense amount of pressure.
So do you say that you should just ballad always? When you can? Do you think so? Okay. Because I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I like to complain about my bad RNG, like the misses, but I feel like on the first side we can get like some pressure. This can carry throughout the rest of the game. So you can get like this first Harvest. You just kind of start a snowball that kind of may lead to an avalanche in the end.
Yeah, that is understandable. Just
I just like to, on the other hand, I understand this because the Harvest alone has quite low accuracy, right? So maybe
yes. I do believe it's base 85, and then you have like the Houndmaster, he has 25 dodge because of bolster, and just like that already makes it a 60% chance, and you're not going to be hitting that every time.
Yeah, that's indeed very reasonable. Yeah. So maybe actually I should start using the ballad more often if I play Jester. Yeah. Okay, so. Do you know what I wouldn't mind seeing actually? I wouldn't mind using the Bile on the Abomination if he just intends to use this like this, because this basically blocks out the Houndmaster. He can't harry anymore if.
Right. I agree that the Bile is likely the better choice there. Just the Houndmaster has fairly high innate stun resistance, so it wasn't the best of chances. And alongside that, getting additional Blight on the middle two characters and activating Riposte, sort of shutting down the Houndmaster, I feel like that could have been a very good swing of tempo.
Yeah, especially the Man-at-Arms and Houndmaster have very low Blight resistance, right? This would have definitely just hit on both of them. Though,
yes, I believe Man-at-Arms straight up has 0.
I really don't understand. I don't understand why he's pushing back the Crusader. I just don't see why. There's no reason not to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of that either.
I would always just push out the Crusader here. Like maybe I'm kind of no. If he has no Lance, there's like literally zero reasons for you not to do this, because Lance can actually turn the fight. So if you are playing against Lance, you may be facing this dilemma: do you want to take the stun to the face, or do you want to take the Lance to the face? Right.
Right.
I'd always prefer the Lance.
Transformed. Slams.
Please!
Oh, no.
How rage is
Tries
this?
to target down the Houndmaster. Okay.
I don't like this. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm just.
I can kind of understand what he's trying to accomplish, but I agree that the Crusader play likely would have been a lot better, since, you know, you push the Crusader out, it's no longer able to do anything, and even then, if you want to target down the Houndmaster, he's still in position 2, so he's still able to be hit by, you know, like Harvest.
Yeah.
He gains access to Blackjack, but you're getting rid of the Crusader stun, so it's the same chance regardless, and even then, you still have the Arbalest to clear your stuns.
Yeah. It's quite an oddball situation here, really. So, I mean, obviously, like, I think Zenex has been getting way more stress damage across the board this game around, right? So he has actually been successfully applying stress. This may work for him. He's actually doing so much stress damage across the board, so this might indeed be the game that he can take, because, you know, this is, like, 80 stress on Abomination, 60, 70 stress on Crusader, 40 on the Jester, 30 on the Herbalist. I think this is quite a lot. And this might be enough. This may carry him through the game, actually, if you know, he gets to apply a little bit more. Those afflictions go onto the Abomination and onto the Crusader. This might be enough. You never know, really. With the stress comes, like, you can never underestimate how much, you know, a little bit of, like, every little bit of stress does.
Absolutely, especially since Abomination is one of the worst characters to get stressed, just because when he hits the 100 and gets the affliction, he transforms out of beast form, which can just hurt a lot in certain situations.
Yeah. It destroys your plans, right? Look at this, like,
absolutely,
imagine,
yes.
However, you stun this Crusader, you push him out right now. What are the disadvantages of doing this? What is the disadvantage of pushing out the stunned Crusader back to the back, like very back of the fight?
Yeah, my only idea at the moment is that because the Man-at-Arms is guarding the Houndmaster, if he uses Harvest with Jester, they both get hit regardless, but even then, I don't think that's nearly good enough to justify keeping the Crusader in front row.
Oh, that would be Crusader 04. Like, if you push him out right now, I have to stop doing this, I'm kind of tunnel visioning here, but imagine, like, this Crusader lands in row 4 with no ability whatsoever, like, he can just heal, like, he's basically like a worse Vestal right now, if he goes to row 4. Seriously, so let's see where it actually takes us. So he cures this Dazzle from the Abo, but, you know, like, if the Abomination does actually take more stress, he's just going to transform back, he's going to get Dazzled anyway.
I don't believe that's the best choices.
I would also be pressuring this hard. Like, if I were Zenex, I would just be pressuring this. He has a real chance of winning this with the amount of stress he's already dealt, and he's just not using his time right. I feel like he should definitely be hound rushing this, like harrying this. I mean, yeah, this could probably help him.
That is a very real possibility. So at this point, Zenex, he's very much on the back foot. He had to heal with the Houndmaster, and now the Man-at-Arms is going to be very susceptible to just getting straight up finale and not being able to do anything. His only potential out to that would be theoretically, you know, like guard dogging him with the Jester or trying to heal with the Vestal, but even then I don't think either of those plays are going to help advance his state much.
Yeah, sure. Waffles also kind of prevents this, you know, the afflictions from going through, so he stays at the safe threshold of stress. He might actually be quite fine here. Like, I feel like that lick wounds before has basically just salvaged the game for Waffles, because he was in like quite a precarious situation. Oh my god, that 30.
Wow.
Never mind. We're back into it, guys.
All right, yep. Game's practically even at this point again. Yeah. There's not much to say about that.
Yeah, Zenex.
However, Vestal is only at 12 health.
That's probably a dead Vestal. Yeah.
Crusader, he's likely just going to try and stun Jester. Yep.
And the Arbalest has used her. Oh, that's so bad. That's the worst possible miss. Like,
all right. Yep. Vestal's
you
dead.
hate to see. You hate to see. This was gonna be like a game-saving moment. I think this is GG now. Like, the Vestal dies way too soon.
It's a very real possibility. Yeah.
I don't like him actually picking the. Maybe he didn't have the choice, right? Picking the Arbalest so soon, because he could not have cleansed this anywhere. But I think he had like no other way of doing this, because the.
I agree. Like, it's unfortunate for him to have so many dazes, but I do think he made the right call. He was able to apply pressure to the Vestal and then kill it before he had the chance to do anything about it. Like, I do overall think that was the good play. Plus, he still has the stun on the Houndmaster, so next turn, Zenex, he's only going to be able to act with 2 characters, and Waffles still has, both stuns available, so theoretically he could, just completely deny Zenex.
He could, yes, indeed. Yeah, Zenex is in a very, very bad spot right now. I mean, let's see how this actually
goes to the bellow.
Yeah.
I honestly, I agree with that play. It might not seem the best at first, but I do agree. The Abomination now has his Affliction. The Jester and Crusader are close to it as well. Damage is reduced, which I actually think is very helpful for Zenex at this moment.
It's kind of late for it. Like, he also cleanses this instantaneously, right? So this is no longer the factor.
That is true, though, yes. I do believe that. I mean, he did kind of force the Arbalist into using the Illuminating Flare, but at the same time, it likely was going to do it anyways just to clear the days from the Jester and keep his options open.
Oh, no, that just...
Ooh,
that seals the deal. I feel just...
Crusader
Courageous is the worst possible
Crusader
thing
got the
to
virtue.
happen.
He's courageous.
Yeah. This is just it, I think. It's like, there's the final nail in the coffin for Zenex.
Yeah.
He can really just win the stress battle with non-stress composition at this point, I feel. Like, this is just a crazy advantage. Like, you can never underestimate Courageous. It's so huge.
It's good, yeah.
Like, this
there's not much else to say. Like, it's just a very solid thing to have, Not something that would be worth building an entire team around, but getting it, you're never going to turn it down.
Yeah, so Waffles can probably play this safe right now, quite safe. Like, he has to eventually get the Man-at-Arms killed, but that's basically all there is. And...
I agree. I believe that the Houndmaster is out of Lick Wounds, so that means the Crusader is the only one who can do any theoretical healing, so just continuing to stack on, like, the damage over time and the raw damage itself, I don't think that Zenex will be able to respond to it at all.
Yeah. Though we do have those afflictions coming through, so this may be like this little bit of RNG that plays in Zenex's favor, maybe brings him back in. That's the only thing you can really hope for right now, because frankly, like, this looks very, very dire for him. I think like he's basically like about I don't know 10% chance of coming back into this, and this is for those afflictions.
Crusader, he's afflicted.
That's very rough. That's very rough. So I actually am curious. As far as the Abomination goes, like, what does he do with it right now? Does he go back to the Beast form? Does he keep stunning? Because those stuns don't do that much damage, and you have to kill that stress comp eventually, so I would just go and rake. I would just go and rake this front line of
I agree with Rake.
Zenex.
He got rid of the debuff from the Bellow. That's understandable.
By the way, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about like using the flare every turn against Bellow, or wouldn't you say it's like probably a better idea to just wait a little bit and just let it stack to 40% before you cleanse it?
So, honestly, I completely agree. That was the point I was going to bring up, that it's very nice to be able to clear the debuff, but using it every single turn essentially turns the game from a 4v3 in Waffles' favor to just a straight 3v3, because the Man-at-Arms, he's able to continue stacking stress even if he doesn't get the debuff, while Arbalist doesn't get anything.
Yeah, he could be doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, like, at best it could be used to clear a stun alongside it, but he's just using it so preemptively that I don't think that it's very worth it.
Oh, that might be one that Jester, if something like happens in terms of afflictions here, this maybe the Jester, okay, he has the healing here, so he's gonna heal this. Maybe the Jester refuses the healing though, so this might be the saving grace here. No, he does. So that's kind of terrible for Zenex.
But at the same time, you gotta remember, the Jester still has bleed on him. I'm not entirely sure how much it is at the moment.
2.
Okay, it's only 2, so it won't kill, but even then, his stress is still so high, he's likely going to get a heart attack right here from the Bellow. Yep, there it is.
I actually don't think you want this, because this resets you to, 175 on the Jester.
Right.
So this might not be, like, actually quite desirable. Because he just gets healed again. Like, I can imagine that this working better if you just Hounds Harry this, and then you maybe do a crit, and you take the Jester to 0 HP with that Hounds Carry crit, and then you just kill him with stress. Or this could probably have worked a bit better then. Though, I don't know, like...
Heart attack, yep, there it is.
I don't think this is enough still. I mean, it's gonna be a very close ending, and I think this is... I don't think this is enough for Zenex.
Honestly, just Waffles sort of relegating his Arbalist to just spamming Illuminating Flare has sort of, in my mind at least, ooh, goodness. Sorry, but the Arbalist just spamming Illuminating Flare sort of kept Zenex in the game, but at the same time, like, both players have had some odd luck.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to deny that.
Yeah, that riposte could also have been activated a lot here. I think like spamming the riposte instead of spamming the chains would mean that, you know, way less stress gets applied because the Houndmaster cannot just freely do what he does. And there's no healing left for Zenex, right? So he has no healing on the Crusader, right? It's quite strange that he doesn't have that, but that's the case.
Oh, goodness. Right.
Oh, so I don't know, like the Jester is dead. I think like Waffles might have actually killed himself. Has Waffles killed himself here? Because look at this.
It's very possible.
Look at this, like the Houndmaster actually Hound rushes the Abomination. Abomination is dead this turn. There's like no more Abomination, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
This might be the end of the thing for Waffles. If he loses the Abomination, he's like in a terrible spot all of a sudden. It's very strange. Like he let this happen, but
yeah, the Man-at-Arms activation, I believe, is to be a fairly strong misplay.
Yeah, just go for the kill. Go for the throat here with the I don't like this at all. I think this could have been GG for Zenex if he had actually gotten like a nice hit with that Harry. I think this was just gonna be game, and now it's, you know, still on the cards for Waffles to win this.
Right, Crusader doesn't have to worry about stress too much, just because if he would get a heart attack, the Virtue consumes it instead. But the rest of the team is just in such dire state that it won't matter much.
I would just go for the rush again. I would go for the Harry here. Oh, so that's a dead Abomination though.
Yeah. It's an interesting call. I don't really think
I
that
actually like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of this myself. It's very smart then. Oh, that's oh, that's so short. Like if he had actually dealt enough damage, you imagine a crit going through.
What?
No,
interesting.
I think that just only works in the original game.
Right. I thought that translated into Circus as well.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't know that.
Okay, let's see what he does. Okay, the rejection.
Use the healing.
He didn't need to heal. Oh, he does need to heal this shit. Oh, that's terrible then. Oh, he gets the stun though. He probably gets the stun. Yeah. So.
However, Man-at-Arms is now able to just bellow. I believe that this will. Crusader needs 29. So yeah, I think that this very well could give him a heart attack.
No, I don't think that's enough. No, that's not close to being enough. I think he can just heal the Arbalest. Yeah. Oh, that's weird lag for us.
Oh, right. If I recall correctly. Yeah, okay.
So just 14, that's not enough. In the Arbalest, can he heal this? So I think I think Waffles may be still in this game slightly, but honestly, he just gave it all away. I mean, he just gave it all away with that, you know, kind of playing this too passive. Okay, we're back with the quality of the stream being normal again. Yeah, he just gave it away, I feel. Okay, so no, that's just not gonna do enough.
Yeah, it's double Death Door, but triple Death Door actually, but
yeah.
No real way to capitalize on it.
I mean, if one of those corpses, like if the Jester's corpse dissolves now, I should start kind of taking counter on this. Do you know how many turns it takes for a corpse to go away? Because I think this is kind of something you should be timing if you're playing this seriously.
Oh, well, there it is.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunate crit for Zenex.
Can the Arbalest kill 2 here? That's the question right now. Can she kill 2?
I think that it's possible.
1. Okay.
Alright. Houndmaster is dead, but they're both at Death's Door, neither have healing. I think this is still very winnable for Waffles.
Yeah, because he has like this very nice position here where, you know, the Crusader can't reach him with anything. And it's just the bellow.
has 45 Death Blow resist, Crusader has 60.
And the Crusader...
why would you defend her here?
I don't know. This doesn't do anything because Bola just targets both of those guys, and this may be GG. Oh wow, that's over.
There's a Death Blow.
Yeah, that's over. Like he can't do anything. He can't reach the Arbalest at all.
Yeah.
That's quite terrible indeed. I think like no, that's just so bad. The game of throws. I feel this was just a game of throws here.
I mean, in a way, yes. I don't really think that either player made any specific move that threw the game away in its entirety. It's mostly just small misplays piling up.
Yeah.
Was my view, at least.
Yeah. So Waffles takes it, and this was. I feel like he could have improved a lot of those plays, but he, generally speaking, played the correct game here, right? He capitalized on those mistakes that Zenex made, and yeah, this basically brought him the win, I feel. All
right, and with that, we've finished this little sort of free-for-all in Darkest Dungeon with Zenex at 0, Alia at 1, and Waffles at 2, so Waffles ends up taking it.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. So do you guys want to kind of do the interview now? Because I think it would be interesting to talk to all the players and see how they feel about that. So we should invite everybody in, how they feel. Or should we just do Waffles here?
I'm up for it.
Okay, let's do it then, guys. So just bring all the players together here, and let's see how it goes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was quite the match. That was quite the match.
Yeah, Sis, do you wanna join us? Because you can be kind of...
Yeah, Sis, get back
Sis,
in here.
come on. Sis.
There's no death blows, so everyone at home doesn't have to worry about their ears being blown out.
Hey, do we have Sis back
I might have
now?
a heart attack though, so don't be too sure about that.
That was so close. That final game was so close, guys.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game.
I accidentally created Sis channel instead of inviting Sis to our chat.
Personal
Guys,
channel.
I'm exhausted, guys. I'm exhausted. Believe me. From...
Afflicted.
No, it's understandable, yeah.
Let's see
You've
where
been
he
talking
is.
for-
Sis, get your ass here. Where are
This game
you?
itself has been at least like 5 hours. On top of that, I believe you said you had an 8-hour lecture. Like, just my goodness.
Yeah, I had like 8 hours of oral exams. That's just super exhausting,
That's
guys.
horrible.
Wow.
Sis, get back to
13
the
hours, my
Discord. Dude.
Oh my god. I'll save it for the interview, I guess.
Yeah,
Cis channel where eardrums go to die.
okay. I have one question. Like, can I open this? Because I have a very important question for Waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Waffles, did you notice that Zenex's Crusader had no lance and he had no heal? So if he could actually have pushed him back with the Abomination, he would have 0 tools to deal with that. Did you see that?
I actually didn't because I'm so used to them having that.
Because we're like
I didn't
looking
even
at this,
bother.
like we're waiting for you to push this Crusader out eventually.
Right.
There's like
I
this was
was-
basically curtains closed for that for Zenex there, I think.
I was trying to stun push the entire party to where I could get the disabled guard debuff on the Vestal and then finale her, but I ended up finaling the Man-at-Arms instead, I think, which worked out.
This
How many turns do you think that would have taken you?
You finale the Man-at-Arms in the game that had to be scrapped, and then in the actual
Oh,
game we
okay.
played through, you finale Vestal, yeah.
Sis,
Oh, it was the Vestal,
voice
right,
up.
right.
Yep.
Sis, you had to kind of either move your face close to the mic or something.
What do you want?
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
You're still super quiet, mate. You're super quiet.
Because this thing has got no pop filter, so when I shout, it's fucking insanely loud, you know?
All I heard
This
was I
went
got
from
a shout.
committing audio warfare to being almost inaudible.
My
Yeah.
God.
That's
I don't know how you do it,
Again,
man.
brothers, this is a directional mic very close to my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
That's
no
better.
picture.
Alright, good.
We had no time to set up the voice beforehand. I popped off because popping off was required, yeah? I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
quite
I-
realize, because I wasn't watching stream, that popping off would fucking kill you guys, yeah?
It's okay. I
Also,
loved it actually. I
yeah,
loved
Please
it.
also appreciate, my name is Cider Lad for a reason. I fucking drink, yeah? Love.
He's just
Okay.
bellows too much.
Okay,
I
so
also want to
Selentia.
apologize for the first round where I didn't mute guys. I didn't realize that was a thing. My
It's-
bad.
Oh, no, it's
Although
okay.
I
I
didn't.
want to ask you guys a real question rather. How much do you think your misplays valued against RNG in that game? Do you think RNG held that, or do you think the skill held? What do you guys think about that?
See, for me, the first game with the dodge comp. Is that what you're referring to?
I'm talking about all of them because what I
Yeah,
saw
just
from
in
those
general.
games was that there was some misplays, but some RNG there. But some of the misplays were very crucial, and it might be hard to remember them. But try and think back. How do you feel about the games, basically?
I don't know how it would have worked if I noticed the Crusader didn't have all that stuff. But the first game, I actually, I was only half expecting to win with that comp because that was just a joke comp with just maxed out dodge. I was like a bit surprised that that won, to be honest.
We've all been there.
Mhm.
Yeah. I actually, that's what I used to get to veteran difficulty, and then that stopped being a thing because everyone just uses accuracy trinkets or jesters. So that, yeah. And then the comp with Zenex, that's the comp I used to get the darkest. So, whew. Guess that's all I have to say.
Is the other person here? Is that knife for Zenex?
Oh, also, today, that was the direct moment that I realized you can get heart attacks from virtues. I never knew you could get a
Right,
heart
yeah.
attack. From your virtues.
Yeah.
I did
Same
not
here.
know that. Oh my god, I shot. Oh
It was
my
the
god.
exact same thing with me and Mike. Like, because in base Darkest Dungeon, if you have a virtue and you would get a heart attack, it just consumes the virtue. We had no clue.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, he doesn't really have to worry about the stress here. He has the virtue to consume it. Then you had a heart attack, and I was just like, oh.
I crapped my pants when that happened.
And I don't think anyone's gonna blame you for that.
Oh my god. Well, the more you know.
Virtue in this game is one of these things where the more experience you have with stress comps, you will sooner realize that it is so weird. Like, you can stress someone out of transformation, you can horror someone on death's door to kill them before they can even act. It's very, very interesting, but also very big brain, if you'd like to call it.
Okay,
Yeah, like a question I personally have for Waffles.
Okay, go.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout your matches, was there any point where you felt fully confident that you had the victory secured, or were you sort of yourself on the edge of your seat, uncertain if you were going to win or not?
That was the uncertainty was half of the dodge comp game, but the game where we disconnect, it froze, I was that was in my favor hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
I got the crit first round. And I noticed, it's weird for me, because for Arbalists, for some reason, they have a good chance of critting, and if you get a good crit the first round, because you don't even need a mark to send a squishy on Death's Door, it's ridiculous how good the Arbalist is.
Mm-hmm.
So, that first game where it froze, everything just was falling into the right places for me to get a clean win, but...
Mm-hmm.
How much do you counter into your when you think about how good you have a chance of winning, how much do you counter bad RNG into that? Do you ever think about maybe missing a few critical hits, basically?
That Hellmaster dodge was unexpected for me, because it's a bad habit now that I think about it, but usually when I get that Jester buff going, I stop thinking about dodges most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That Jester buff is very slept upon.
Yeah, it's because I guess that's what I learned from doing the dodge comp, because I learned that, if a Jester exists, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't,
that's kind of what I learned.
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't noticed, I'm a huge fan of the Jester.
Hey, me and you both, brother.
I use them in every comp. It's ridiculous.
There was
there are worse characters you could. You could be the guy that tries to fit a leper everywhere.
Don't be that guy. Please don't be that guy.
Your Jester finale'd and survived 5 or 6 turns.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When you use your finale on the Jester, do you consider that my Jester is dead here? Or do you think he's done his finale and now I can do AoE damage or stress healing? How do you treat the Jester in that?
Most of the time, it's... Alright, I'm using you for the buff at the beginning and the finale, and sometimes for the bleed and blights, for the trinket. But after that finale, his value goes way more down for me. I'll try to keep him alive if it doesn't cost me a lot, but if he has to die, then I'm okay with him dying after he's used his finale.
I think other players just
did notice the Jester going forward after the Dirk stab actually misplaced his abomination a couple of times. And also moves from the affliction also made sort of his center really jittery and moved around a lot.
Yeah, I ended up using... I guess I just like Slam more. I use Slam way more than I use any of his attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was something that we were all able to see during the match.
I just really love his... I just think it's a great move. It's the opposite of the Shield Breaker's Guard Disable the
puncture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is your prestige level, by the way? Do you have access to all of the trinkets? I think that's something you should make.
Yes, I do.
So what were the trinkets you were running on Abomination?
Oh, I need to check. Okay,
Thesis wants to climb to champion.
for
Also,
yeah.
no,
Darkest one, but I'm literally darkest one.
Yeah.
I got darkest
Also,
one.
if you noticed, I didn't care about Malks for the Arbalists because I don't think you really need
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
My Arbalists. This is from last game, by the way. The last one. The Hunter's Charm crossbow thingy. The Arbalist piercing quarrel, the thing that gives her a little bit of armor piercing damage and crit.
That's the must take.
Range skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jester, the crushed hemlock for the blight. And I actually like giving him the bloodstained Gabison for the HP because I think he's just way too squishy without it.
Is that the one that gives you 8% death blow resist? Something like that?
4%.
Perfect.
I see. Okay.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting pick.
So what I like to do for this is both my Abomination and my Crusader have a virtue trinket. So normally there's a decent chance at least one of them might. It doesn't always happen, but there's a decent chance at least one of them will virtue.
People love to focus the Abomination as well, right? With stress if they can. So
yeah, so it's funny when you just ignore that. For the Abomination, I gave him his virtue trinket, which is the taste of grandeur, which gives him accuracy damage and crit, not crit, but self stress, I guess. But if it virtues, it doesn't matter that much. And I also gave him the Shattered Padlock, less because of the bleed and more because of the damage and move skill chance.
Does that give accuracy?
The Shattered Lock doesn't.
You have to wonder about it. Are you kind of high rolling there? Because innate accuracy is a little bit. When you play the Abomination, how do you kind of play it? Do you treat it as a stun bot, or do you like to just transform and go mad?
I do it. It's usually either Manacles stun or slam for dispositioning.
Zenex, you are here, right? Aren't you?
Yep.
What do you think about that game? Could you give us like a quick run through of your comp? How you kind of felt the strategy would go out?
Frankly, Jesters countered me, and I had extremely good luck. And if I hadn't been so lucky, it wouldn't even have been as close as it was. I doubt I could have won unless RNGesus just shat luck on all over me.
Why
I
do you
feel like
think
that
that was?
Like this because before the remake, I feel you were in like way worse position than you were in the second.
Oh yeah, I was
attempt,
putting
right?
out fires as new ones were arising, and that really.
Yeah.
Because in that second game, you actually got a lot of stress down, and you were actually kind of pulling slowly forward. I felt for a second, it felt like you were gonna win this. Actually, like for some time, it felt like you actually had like this foothold in this game. You were probably going to kind of keep it up there. So the second game was very close. The first one, I think you just lost on the characters very, very early on, right? That thing I think killed out the
Jesters are just a hard counter to my party.
Yeah. There's a lot of counters in my party. It's ridiculous.
By the way, Zenex, you have to change that Crusaders stuff. You need to get the Holy Lands because it's so easy to outposition him.
Didn't you take
I was dumb.
In the actual first match, me versus Dracolich, I actually used just the basic party I always used. But I switched things up, I think, in accordance to me thinking, oh, he's gonna use Grave Robber, Jester, Anti, and...
I see.
Right.
You thought I was just a jokester.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna wreck you because my HM targets the entire party and had like a dodge modifier of 24.
No, that was my joke party.
Insane stuff.
Yeah, so essentially the main reason that you went with such an unorthodox setup for your Crusader Wedge, you were trying to just make like a hard read and call out what Waffles was going to bring.
I got mine being
shuffle.
I unintentionally got because I was
Okay.
You guys here?
It looks like everyone lagged out for a moment, but yeah.
Zenex,
Yeah.
when you come back, if you can, do you think? 'Cause I love that so much. I want to just start shouting, but we've literally seen the first time in, as far as I'm concerned, fucking history, where someone just went in a tournament setting. I'm going to try and fuck this guy over in the next pick. Like, seriously.
No, yeah. Same here. I respect it. I just the sheer goal you have to do that. I loved it. Like, obviously, like someone enters a tournament to win, but in my mind at least, I always try to go for what's cool as opposed to what's
we've been there before,
optimal,
brother. We both play the cool shit. This was
I
love that guy's thinking.
And it felt like a moment like right out of a wrestling clip, like just building up the story and just trying to make a hard call of like, hey, I know exactly what you're going to do. I'm going to stomp you. What are you going to do about it? I love it. It put on a great show.
I think the thing I love most about that though is that
This was like This was like if in Rocky, the Soviet boxer went, "I will break you," after the whole Rocky music montage where he ate eggs and went on races. And then he actually just broke Rocky in half.
And then he
End of
actually,
movie. Just
I love
like
it.
Bane in Batman breaks him over his.
I love it.
True story.
I want to say, as soon as we started doing like viewer versus viewer, and Mike started commentating, this just felt like esports, and I loved it.
I mean,
Yeah.